On this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast, money lessons from holiday movies. So, welcome back to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast. My name is Sean Yesner, owner and founder of Yesner Law, and I am joined, as always, remotely by your financial coach, George Corbello. How you doing, George?
Hey, happy holidays. Hope everybody's doing extremely well. Sean, I'm doing well. I think I'm ready for the holidays. Just a little bit of downtime and just enjoying the time with family. So that's kind of what I'm ready for.
Nice. Well, I know that as this episode comes out, we will be recovering from Christmas, although we're recording just before Christmas. So,
Right.
any Christmas plans this year?
All my kids are coming. My oldest is coming from college, and I think we're just settling in, enjoying the cold weather we have in Florida here. It's gonna be a little brisk during Christmas time. I doubt that, but no, but yeah, we're just hanging out and really just enjoy. We'll probably do like Christmas, the Christmas lights in Tampa. I think we're catching a Christmas show as well. So we're just little family events. My wife always loves to have experiences during this time of year, so it's always a good time to bring everybody together.
Yeah. So we normally will get together with my in-laws because my father-in-law is not Jewish. So we'll get
Mm,
together with my in-laws on Christmas Day and do the typical, we'll bring in Chinese food. And
yeah,
that's when the in-laws give my kids their Hanukkah presents. Although this
nice.
year, Hanukkah and Christmas
Yeah,
align.
they
So the
align.
first night of Hanukkah is
Hmm.
Christmas night. So
Not bad, not bad indeed.
yeah.
Any other special plans other than it sounds like a good meal and some family time as well. And anything else planned at the going into the new year as well?
Yeah, no, I didn't plan it right this year, and it's kind of goofy because the holidays fall, both Christmas and New Year's fall on a Wednesday, right
You're right.
smack dab in the middle of the week. So, had I been thinking, I probably would have taken some of that time off, but I wasn't thinking, and so I actually have appointments and consultations and stuff going
In
on
between.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday of both the week of Christmas and the week after Christmas. Going into the New Year. So, um, yeah, so I'll be, working. I'll be probably taking the kids back and forth to and from the office and working. But
Yeah, same here. I have a few appointments that we're doing here, but for us, we were planning to go to New York and all that good jazz, and it just then it became the almighty budget, and just trying at the end of the year planning wise, it can get very expensive. The flights are pretty cheap, but renting a car got really expensive up in New York City. So we were just like, okay, I guess it wasn't meant to be this year. So we'll see what we do in the new year.
well, that's why you're the great podcast co-host that you are, because you're on a show about reducing debt and staying within your budget, and you decided to do just that.
We could have easily just impulsed it and said, "Don't worry about it. It'll be next year's problem." And we just decided like it's just not a good idea. We've done that mistake in the past, and again, no regrets in spending. So we'll just do the boring thing and stay home and enjoy just being with the kids. Ugh.
Well, you know it's going to help me get through this holiday season.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine it's going to be the right answer that my wife is going to say too.
It is going to be those little green bottles of Magic Mind,
The great
especially
bottle of Magic Mind. Yes.
especially with the kids being home from school. I need to focus. I need to make sure that
Hmm.
I can maintain my focus between getting my work done and giving the kids the attention that they need from them being home. Although chances are my kids are now at the age, they're still younger than yours. I think my kids will always be younger than yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but
It's usually how it works.
that's
But yeah.
that's typically how it works. Yeah, but they are at the age where they have their bikes, they have their scooters, and so
Right.
they'll probably be just running around the neighborhood with friends, which I'll take advantage of that quiet time and get work done. But
Right.
that little bottle of Magic Mind will allow me to focus and juggle all the stuff that goes on during the holidays. And so they're still running their special where they give any of our listeners 20% off. You've got to go to magicmind.com, enter the code CD20 for Crushing Debt 20, and you'll get 20% off your first order if you haven't already ordered any Magic Mind. Obviously, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out or even after, it's going to be too late to get your bottles of Magic Mind for stocking stuffers. But Valentine's Day is right around the corner. What
Yep.
more of a romantic present can you think of
I could think
than
I could think of that as being a number one item to give to the loved ones, and say that the power and the magic mind.
well,
I agree with that.
your wife would? She loves it, so she would
Oh,
like that.
she's loving it. So it's definitely a New Year with because it was it Martin Luther King gift and Valentine's Day gift. Every month there seems to be a gift anyway. So, but now it's definitely a good way to start the day and keep yourself really energized and focused throughout the day. So I agree. Great gift.
Yeah.
Especially for those who always need that pick me up. That's not coffee, so that's a good alternative or a good supplement.
And by the way, it was great to finally meet your wife in person and to see the palatial estate that is the Corbello household.
I appreciate the obviously the visit. We had a little get together. We won't call it a party and stuff like that, but it was a nice little intimate get together. And Sean was able to come. We kind of broke bread. Enjoyed some time. He even got to meet my brother, so that's even like just meeting family and stuff like that. So it was a really definitely appreciate you do coming out, and that bourbon and cigar definitely hit the spot as well. It's
Yes.
always a good way to kind of do a home warming as well.
Yes, it was a good times. But what we thought we would talk about today, I actually kind of really like this idea, and I'm curious to see where today's episode goes. Um, all of
The
the
rabbit hole, let it open.
There you go. All the Christmas movies that are out. And so what we decided to do was kind of analogize those Christmas movies to the various financial lessons that come with those Christmas movies. And some of them may appear a little obvious and some of them not so much. So
Mm.
so what do you got for us, George?
Well, I mean I mean, when you think of like holiday movies, Christmas movies, like what are some of the ones that stand out for you? Like when the holidays come around, what's the one that kind of stands out for you as well?
I think the one that stands out to me, probably "It's a Wonderful Life"
It's
or
a Wonderful Life, exactly. Christmas Carol, Wonderful Life, those seem to be the ones that pop out. My wife, again, God bless, I love Christine. She loves every year. It's the Christmas. She watched the 1930 version of the Christmas Carol. It's on on Prime, and it was like, okay, we're watching something that old. Again, still holds up. Story's good, but maybe the graphics not so much. But yeah, there's some valuable lessons between those two movies. Christmas Carol, obviously, if you're a Scrooge during the holiday season itself, what are some of the things that stand out when you talk about a Christmas Carol?
I think for A Christmas Carol, I think it's more just like you said, the thought of Scrooge and being together for the holidays, and um, all the redemption story, the spirits,
Right.
the
Yeah, that transformation, right? That
right,
he's such a Grinch. All he cared about was hoarding money or just having the money itself, not helping people around the community, not helping people that even worked for him. He was just he's a mean guy.
yeah,
That's for me.
understanding, like we talked about last week, goals, understanding your
Yeah.
past, where do you want to go in the future,
Right.
how do you want to get there. Another one that's like A Christmas Story, but with a little bit of a funnier twist on it is Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Yes. With Bill Murray. Yes, I love that one.
Same lessons.
Definitely a much funnier take on the holiday scene, but I absolutely agree with that one. Again, hopefully these some of these movies get you if you haven't watched them. Definitely always a good kind of one opera. Give yourself that time. It is that end of the year kind of thing where a little downtime. It's like, hey, throw on. I guarantee you they're on one of the platforms that are out there. That you have subscribed to.
What about here's we'll get the controversy out of the way right at the beginning of the episode. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Oh my goodness. So I will battle everyone on this one. It's like, of course, it's a Christmas movie. He's visiting his wife. It has snow in it. It has it's some Christmas. There's caroling. There's everything in that movie itself that screams Christmas movie itself. It's not your warm-hearted Christmas movie, but it is definitely a good holiday. I catch it every year
So
on the time of the year.
I agree with you. I think it is a Christmas movie, but it happens during Christmas. So
Yeah.
if the story had occurred during like a summer party, then it may not
Or
be
Thanksgiving or any
Thanksgiving
yeah,
party.
any of those kind of things itself. I agree.
But what's the financial lesson we can take from Die Hard?
Well, I mean, so I was looking this up and trying to get some good ones out of it, just to be funny. But here's, it's having financial resiliency during unplanned events. And you're thinking, that's pretty spot on in regards to, some research on that, right? John McClane is, trying to visit, and all of a sudden, you got someone who's, trying to rob rob the place itself, unplanned events that he has to maneuver. And if he would have just maybe visited during Thanksgiving, changed his plans itself, he probably wouldn't have been in the middle of that mess. So, it's one of those kind of situations. I'm like, yeah, that like it's just having some change and being ready, having some resiliency during some unexpected events, being able to handle some of those unplanned events.
The other lesson I take from Die Hard is not to walk around the house barefoot.
Especially with Legos
Right.
on the floor. I would agree with that one as well.
That
Oh
is
my
what.
Hey, put aside some budget money for some shoes.
There you
I,
go.
I would agree that fit.
What about another movie?
I like, so another movie, and again, my wife, she hammers me with these every year, but Polar Express is a very nice movie. It's very traditional. That's like 20 years old already. I think it's 20 plus years available already. But that movie really emphasizes, the investment of experience over things. That there's importance in regards to creating memories rather than just that pretty much provide valuable kind of that memory that's more valuable than just any material gift that can be provided. So I think that's again that's what some of the things that I get as part of that movie.
Is that the
Even though
one
I
where
probably fall asleep about 3/4 into it? But
is that the one where Tom Hanks voices the main
yes,
character? It's
yes.
not quite a cartoon, but it's kind of like
Yeah,
a
it's like
cartoon.
I don't want to say it's Pixar, but it's kind of but it's not a cartoon technically. But yeah, and they used to um, say some mean things about that movie, like with a lot of dead eyes in that movie itself because of the way the animation was played. But again, if you get past it does definitely has a very good storyline and a good premise for it. So that's some of the lessons that I get from a nice Polar Express movie.
Nice. So
Um, I mean,
what?
obviously, like, what are you thinking? Like, for like, okay, I just throw in Home Alone, which Home Alone is still regarded as a big Christmas movie. Macaulay Culkin and his huge role in that movie itself. But if I tell you Home Alone, what are some of your things that you get from a financial lessons that I get from Home Alone?
A couple things that I thought of. Number one is, I mean, the biggest question that I think everybody has is what the heck kind of job does the
Yeah,
dad do to not only be able to afford that mansion,
the
but also
mansion.
fly the entire family overseas for Christmas vacation?
Yes.
What the
I
heck
would
does that
I would
guy
agree.
do?
It's a pretty, and again you look at it and go, well, it wasn't it that the 80s, the 90s, wasn't it the 90s? So maybe inflation hadn't hit so badly, the housing market wasn't booming as high. Maybe you can get a nice house like that for you know half a million in, I don't
Yeah.
know, somewhere.
I mean, today that house is probably worth multi-millions of dollars.
Multi-million dollars, yes, if it's been upkeep. Maybe it's a money pit. You just never know. You never know
Yeah.
from that standpoint.
The other thing I thought to myself is I don't think Home Alone could ever happen today with Ring cameras and
Good point.
FaceTime and all that other stuff. I don't know that Home Alone would really ever happen. I don't think it would have really ever happened in the time period that it was supposed to happen. But
Right.
I don't think it happened today. Actually, funny story. My younger son, rides his bike to a friend's house, and then they ride to school together. So we live probably about a mile away from the school, and his friend probably lives like 3/4 of a mile away from the school. So he rides his bike to his friend's house, and then they ride to school together. So earlier this week, it was it was Wednesday. Um, my son leaves the house right around 7 o'clock. I get a text message from his friend's mom, probably about 10 after 7, that says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We forgot to tell you we left to go away for vacation for Christmas. And so we let Jacob know, and he just had to ride his bike to school by himself today."
Okay.
And I emailed back, I texted back, and I said, that's fine. Thanks for telling me. No worries. I know
Yeah.
stuff happens. It's fine. And she texted back, and she said, "Yeah, it was really crazy. We had to wake the kids up. We had to get everybody moving. We surprised them, so they really weren't packed. And we had to do all of that to get to our 8 a.m. flight."
Whoa.
And I'm thinking to myself, you're texting me at like 7:10, 7:15 in the morning. And I texted her back, and I said, 8 a.m. flight. Are you at the airport?
I hope so.
And
We're on
she's
the plane. I hope you're in the plane, because if it's at 8 o'clock,
yeah. And so she texts me back. She says, "Yeah, we're at the airport." And I said, "Well, then how did you tell my son you weren't there and he had to go to school by himself?" And she said, "Oh, well, he rang the Ring doorbell and we were talking to him through the Ring doorbell." I'm like, "Oh,
gotcha.
now I think I'm going to go out and get my son a phone just in case." Because had they not had a Ring doorbell,
No, yeah, he would have been,
he might still be standing
right?
on their he might still be standing on their front porch wondering where they are.
Waiting for somebody. Hello? Hello?
It's the opposite of Home Alone.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, that's I will give them, at least they were able to make that communication, but at the same time, like, my goodness, that's such poor planning to let people know, by the way, hey, we're not going to be available, we're not going to be here for whatever reason it might be.
I
So
think I think it might have
fascinating.
been. I mean, they're really good people. We're friends with
Yeah,
them, but I think it might have been
just lost their.
more just a late minute planning
Yeah.
rather than poor planning. But
No,
anyway,
thank you. Yeah, last minute. Okay, I'll give you that. Well, the other thing I think I learned in Home Alone that I probably take on today is the importance of insurance. The amount of damage that house took to keep those burglars out. I'd imagine. I don't care how much money you're trying to make for the McAllisters. You're going to need to have good coverage to make sure you get some of that stuff recovered.
probably also a
So
good lesson in Die Hard too. The cost of
well,
life insurance in
commercial
particular.
insurance, right? You need to keep that building up and keep it up. And a lot of glass shattered. I did realize as well. Yeah, yeah, I get that too. And just to give you one thing, hey, they're coming back with a new Home Alone movie. I think next year. I think that's what they were. I think they were planning that. So all your answers to the questions you have right there in regards to rings and could it possibly happen, you may have them answered next year. So we'll see how that goes.
So
We'll have a new movie to critique next year.
there you go. So speaking of insurance, one of the ones that kind of resonated with me, A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story. Oh my goodness, I love. Yeah.
And
What is it? The little BB gun.
yeah, the
What do
BB
they call
gun
it?
and your tongue stuck to the pole. I mean, to me, that tells us the importance of having health insurance.
Oh, what was that, 1950s? For the movie where it was centered around. I don't think, the medical expenses were something of a problem. But I would agree. Yeah, you probably, the importance of health insurance when it comes to even putting soap. You got to use for that dirty mouth that you have, that potty mouth. You got to make sure you go rinse out with some soap. I imagine there would be a lot of kids in trouble in today's day and age when it comes to that lesson. But yeah, that's for me. I love that movie. It's so. I remember even the this when he's visiting the Santa, right? And he's oh, I want this. He's like, no, not of this, and he pushes the kid, kicks the kid in the face, and the kid slides down. I mean, just great memories of that show, of that movie itself. And just for me, they do a marathon, I think, on Christmas Day, all day on TBS or something like that. It's just be all day, played all day. And of course I got to get at least one run of it.
I think I remember in years past that they used to play all the Star Wars episodes back to back to back on Christmas Day, and so That I would much rather
That might
watch.
be.
I would much rather. Now, again, these days with streaming services and whatnot, you don't necessarily
Everything
need a
is, yeah.
special day.
I mean, some people still have, they haven't cut the cord. They still have cable. They still have your kind of traditional TVs and stuff like that. So I can see, still having those types of. I mean, they have Christmas song shows and Mariah Carey and all that, all that jazz as well. So there's gonna be plenty of Christmas and holiday cheer that you can have.
I
when
am
it comes
sure.
to the shows and movies. So.
So, what other movies we got?
Well, another one that stands out for me is Elf. I mean, just funny movie, real good. Warm-hearted. Love some of the characters, but again, Buddy's like his wonder, right? Everything is the simple pleasures. He makes something very simple and is just so warm and giving to the many of the characters in that movie itself. So obviously, some of the lessons that I get from there is just keep it simple, go for the experience over the thing. You don't have to go over budget, spend so much in order to make a lasting memory. Everything's about memories, man. Again, as we get older, it's all about the memories. It's not about the stuff because you can't take the stuff with you.
Right.
So, but at least the memories itself can be living on through you and the people you love. That's how I look at it.
I love all the National Lampoon Vacation movies, and Christmas Vacation is one of my favorites. And I know the lesson that we get from there is the cost of hosting Christmas,
Yes.
the cost of hosting family during the holidays, the cost of home repairs, the cost of electricity.
Hopefully not too many, but yes, in that movie there were plenty.
Right. I wonder what his electric bill was at the end of that movie.
Do you have any houses in your neighborhoods that go for broke when it comes to the Christmas lights and things like that?
So I'll go off on a little bit of a tangent, kind of,
Here we
sort
go.
of.
The former HOA board member here.
I am not. By the way, one of the favorite things that I did this year. So in December of every year, I buy a physical calendar, like paper calendar that we hang in the kitchen, and we put all the kids' events on it and all the different things. I mean, my work calendar, my Google calendar runs my life, but everything else goes onto that family calendar.
The family that's the family calendar.
Right. When are we taking
Gotcha.
vacations? When are the soccer games? When are the Cub Scout meetings? All that kind of stuff.
Cool.
It was so unbelievably satisfying that I did not write a single HOA meeting into my 2025 calendar.
Not even to visit. You're not even gonna show up.
No.
At all.
There was not a single HOA calendar. So anyway, this is probably a couple of years ago. There was a house in our neighborhood that literally, I used to not literally, but I used to joke, you could see this house from outer space.
Probably.
The homeowner had installed lights along the soffits, spotlights in the front, spotlights in the back. He had installed cameras all over the house.
Wow.
And his explanation, he had a couple different explanations for doing so, but basically what he had installed was in violation of the rules of the HOA. Okay. So the HOA is sending him letters to try to make sure he fixes these violations. Mm-hmm. In the middle of all of this, he puts up his Christmas lights. Now, at the time...
Oh, wait, so this is on top of...
Right.
Oh, never mind. Good. Yeah, he's over. It's overkill. Go ahead,
now,
continue.
At the time, the rules of the community said you could have your Halloween lights up, but then your Halloween lights had to come down the first week of November, and you couldn't put your Christmas lights up until after Thanksgiving. So there was a 3-ish week period of time where your house could not have lights up. Well, he put his lights up during that period of time.
Okay.
The association had a neighbor complain, and we're like, well, we can't ignore the violation, especially when a neighbor's complained. Mm-hmm. So we got a violation notice because he put his lights up too early. Now, say what you will about should he be able to put his lights up whenever he wants and blah, 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 blah. The rules of the association said you couldn't have lights up during that period of time. He got a violation notice. Yep. He went ballistic. He went to every news station. He went on social media. He totally blasted the association it ended up getting retweeted by Mariah Carey.
Ooh.
So my claim to fame as the president of the HOA is we got retweeted by Mariah Carey.
Retweeted by Mariah Carey.
But
Okay.
we eventually worked it out with him. I mean, from a practical perspective, by the time the second violation notice would have come out, by the time any fines would have had to have been imposed, the lights would be allowed.
Yes,
so
it should be allowed, right?
We had to send the violation notice because we had to send the violation notice, but it ended up being a non-event. We ended up actually resolving the issues with the guy. We got the lights fixed. We got the camera situation fixed, and we ultimately, in my neighborhood, changed the rules where you can put up your Halloween decorations October 1 or you're close to October 1, and then you don't have to take any decorations down until like the first week of January.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, I mean, theoretically, you could have Halloween decorations up till the end of January. You could have Christmas decorations up from October 1 through January.
Sure.
So we ended up changing the rule. But my claim to fame is we got retweeted by Queen Christmas herself.
It's the Queen of Christmas herself. Like, all right, there, man. That's some. That's a lot of eyes on the particular topic as well. So that's interesting how that played out. But I'm glad that there was no, issues, no shenanigans, nothing that came out of it. I thought you guys were gonna be doing some kind of Dateline type story or something like that. So that's good that it didn't end up being that way.
Yeah, no, it didn't end up being that way.
Love it.
So we talked about Scrooge, but we missed another major, I guess, villain of Christmas.
Oh. Which one is this one? Is it the green guy?
The green guy, the Grinch.
The Grinch.
What financial lessons does the Grinch teach us?
Well, I mean, let me see. Let me think about that one itself, right? Like, he was very, what is it all about? It's feelings, right? The resentment that he had regarding the holidays. So maybe I'll do a little twist in a sense of like, don't have that resentment over holiday debt. Don't worry about, don't have those ill feelings. We want to go into the holidays feeling good. I don't want to say stress free because there's always, we got to hang out with family. There's always going to be stress there, but just being able to really, again, spend within your means, spend within the budget itself. Don't have to overspend to give nice gifts or give great experiences during that time. So I think it's just more of like, don't bring that resentment. See if you can, what is the true spirit of this season itself? It's giving, and it's really being there with family and enjoying the time with others. I mean, that's for me that's the big thing that you see from I hope to see from the Grinch when we go through that lesson.
I think the Grinch is also another one that talks about the value of insurance, especially if you're gonna have your gifts
well, if you get your stuff stolen, you gotta make sure you have a way to be able to recover it.
And it's like Home Alone in terms of the need for a security system and security cameras and.
For nowadays, yes, those Grinch. I do see a lot of TikToks where parents are scaring the bejeez of their kids with regards. I mean, it sounds funny where you got the Grinch coming in and stealing the gifts, but man, when you're doing that to 3-4-year-olds, they don't necessarily know. That's a traumatic event, man. That's gonna be some therapy you're gonna have to pay for later.
I saw a meme on social media, and it said, if you want to keep your kids in line during the holidays, you wrap a bunch of empty boxes. And then every time the kid misbehaves, you take one of the boxes and you throw it in the fire.
Oh my God. You're brutal. Brutal.
I thought it was great.
Oh my gosh.
You're not getting this gift this year.
But there you go. Oh, really? There's night one into the fire. Yeah, dude, you are. That's some evil stuff right there. Love it. But some evil stuff. I think we're not going to make a lot of fans with that kind of with suggestions like that. But I still love it anyway. Yeah. Other movies. So you got to, if you mention Bruce Willis, you got to. For me, you got to mention Arnold, right? So Jingle All the Way is another movie that I feel is fun. It's a taste. It's an acquired taste when it comes to it. But it is a Christmas movie. And the biggest lesson that we have when it comes to a movie like that, if you've ever seen it, it's that last minute shopping. if you're waiting for the last minute to do anything. I mean, again, if you're shopping this weekend, this is the last weekend before any of the bigger holidays itself. You already know you're coming up with a lot of stress because you got to like, where am I going to get the gift? Is this the right gift? Where am I going to get this? And of course, you're probably going to overspend just because it is the last minute. You're thinking you're getting the last and best deals, and you probably end up spending, which is going to stress you out even after the holidays. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's big lesson from that movie. And again, you have to mention Arnold. Arnold's is a
Well,
great actor.
the other thing that occurred to me, it's sort of the same lesson we get from Home Alone in that time marches on. Do people really go out and go shopping for presents these days, or do they just go on Amazon and have the stuff delivered?
So it's easy, dude. I mean, it is easy. Online shopping is very easy to do, but I still think people like going, even if it is, just for the going through the motions. Because a lot of the malls you go, especially here in Florida, kind of go to the bigger malls in your area itself. I guarantee you, they're still going to be packed. You're
Yeah.
going to press hard to find parking. There's going to be a lot of people still walking around. Whether they're spending, that's a different story. But I think people still like the whole nostalgia of just going to a store, looking physically at an item, looking at something, rather than a picture. It's very, especially like I hate shopping for sneakers online because it's hard. Like I want to see it, I want to try it
Yeah.
on before I actually. So there's still some items that will still bring you to the stores, and I still think that it's going to be packed this weekend for that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like shopping in person over online, and I actually have finished all my. I've got all 8
Congrats.
nights of Hanukkah ready to go, all wrapped and
Nice.
ready to go.
Yeah, we
So
we are we are in that mode as well. Chris usually starts very early. We start probably November just to try to like make sure. And my kids, they're so it's so difficult sometimes. They're like, "What do you want?" I don't know. It's like you know what that answer is. I get you too much stuff. I spoil you too much during the year, and that means I got to get you nothing. That's exactly what it's. So I'm gonna stop buying you stuff either at Christmas or at the end of the or during the year. So one of the two is coming in 2025.
so both my boys sent me lists of what they wanted. My older son on the list included the price range of
Oh,
what he wanted. So he
nice.
listed
He did the
like
research.
yeah, so he said like Jordan sneakers, $400 to $600. I'm like, dude, I'm not buying you.
He
A,
wants Jordan sneakers. God bless that. Hey, he's cool. I'll
he's
give him
cool.
that.
He ain't getting them, but he's cool.
Dang.
But
Holy shizes. Okay. There
so
you
I mean,
go.
he was like PlayStation 5 or whatever the
That's not cheap either.
right. And but he listed like the retail price of all the stuff that he wanted. And I'm like,
Four
dude,
ninety nine, Dad. 4.99.
yeah. Like, no, no, you're not getting some of this. Maybe one of these things, but you're not getting. I'm not. I remember back to our first Hanukkah with my son and my wife saying at the time, "Are you crazy? You're buying him 8 presents?" And I said to her, we're not buying him 8 nights of $500 a night.
Right.
So, he wanted.
Well, that's that. Well, if Dad's doing really well in the
Maybe if I'm
business,
doing
then
really well, maybe.
then yes, we'll get to that point. But those are future financial goals that we can spend excessively during Hanukkah.
Exactly. So, we mentioned Bruce Willis, we mentioned Arnold. We've got to mention Tim Allen,
Okay, I like Tim. Tim is good.
the
I love
Santa
holiday
Claus.
shows, but Santa Claus is a star. I mean, that's a huge one for me. I think Santa Claus, the original. Again, I know there's been like 7 spinoffs and a show and a TV. Like it's like okay, one movie's all I need,
Right.
all need. But I do love Santa Claus. It's a very nice, warm-hearted. But biggest thing. What's the biggest thing? Right. The hidden cost of big commitments. This is a guy who is now becoming Santa Claus, and he doesn't realize, like, holy mackerel, there's a lot of things involved in this job, in what we're doing from this standpoint. And a lot of us, the lessons we can take, again, we'll nicely spin it too, is sometimes committing to something, there you have to plan to understand what those unforeseen costs might be. What are some of the things that come out of nowhere that we need to be more aware of when it comes to some of the commitments that we have out there. The thing that stands out for me, Sean, with a lot of this is like weddings. Oh, we're gonna get married. We're gonna do this, and then there's like unforeseen costs of the wedding. I'm like, really, really? It's a huge commitment, right? There's gonna be venues and photography. Like,
I got to
th-
pay for
th-
what?
yeah, exactly. So that's how I would look at it. Great Christmas movie, great holiday movie, but I really, again, one of those kind of things. It's the just for me the lesson is unforeseen. Things
Yeah.
that are if you're gonna take on such a huge responsibility in anything you do itself, you have to kind of look at what some of the costs would be. And again, it might not be just money; it could be time. These are things that are your time, your skill sets, your experience, and yes, your costs that could be
Well,
associated with those things.
and that was what kind of stuck with me is I don't I mean I know the kind of the premise of the movie is that Tim Allen becomes
Hmm.
Santa Claus. I don't know that I remember the movie in that much detail to really talk about it, but the thing that kind of occurred to me, especially something that I'm struggling with, is just my ability to say no. Now, I
Hmm.
don't know that in the movie Tim Allen really had the option of saying no to being Santa Claus. Otherwise, it would have been a really short movie. But
15 minutes.
but to
Nah, I'm
me,
good.
the ability to say no when people ask you to do stuff, you don't always have to say yes, unless
Yeah,
unless you're Tim Allen in a movie, and then you
yeah,
have to say
unless you're
yes.
getting paid to finish the movie an hour
Right.
and 30, 40 minutes later. Yes, I would agree with that. Yes, we need to learn. I would say that's a nice holiday, and a nice lesson going into the new year. It is okay to say no. It is a full sentence. It is a full word that you can use in many responses, and it does not make you a bad person.
No.
Won't make you the Grinch. I mean, your kids might look at you and you might be the Grinch if you say no to, you know. I know Sean will be, when the PS5 doesn't arrive, but yes, these are little things that it's still you still have the ability to say no and not be the bad guy in those things.
Yeah. Any other
So
movies
love
you
it.
want to talk about?
Uh, a lot of new ones that I think we're just going to be looking into. For me, the Red One seems pretty good. There's a new movie on CBS or Paramount. It's called Dear Santa. And the premise, again, this is a holiday funny. It's with Jack Black, and anything with him is hilarious.
Right.
But the kid misspells Santa, and he sends a letter to Satan.
Nice. Does Satan
So of course
answer it?
the movie, I would imagine the movie really touches on the kid's ability to maybe change Satan's perspective on the Christmas spirit. But that's going to be one of those new movies that I do want to check out and just see if it's going to be in the rotation for our yearly visits when it comes to our movies during the holiday season. But yeah, didn't expect that one, but that was I was like, okay, I like the trailer. Let's see if it's a good movie. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know in the new year if it's a good movie or not.
Okay.
If we enjoyed it, because it's my kids who are going to tell us, yay or nay.
Right. I don't
But yeah,
really.
that's it, man. Hey, like I said, it is the holiday season. I thought nice way to kind of talk about finances and some of the decisions we make, and still have some fun while we drop some. If you haven't watched any of these movies, definitely would recommend. If you have some downtime itself, it's some of these are very enjoyable movies to kind of get you into the Christmas spirit for sure,
Yeah.
or the
Ha-
holiday spirit.
holiday
Regardless,
spirit.
I celebrate Festivus for the rest of us. So it's all good. It's all good in the hood, guys.
Well, I think that will do it for this week's episode, and that'll also do it for this year's
Yes.
episodes. So this will be our last episode of the year, but we will be back next week with a brand new episode for 2025. We do want to again mention our sponsor, Magic Mind. You can go to magicmind.com, use the code CD20, get 20% off your order. My understanding is that there is a new promotion coming out in January, so you'll be hearing about that as we get details of that. So look forward to that. We also want to mention if you want, well, I mean, I guess by the time you're listening to this, Christmas will be over. But if you want us to do anything with the show going into 2025, you can
Yes,
always help
please.
us out at patreon.com/crushing debt. That's how to donate to us through the Patreon website. We also want to thank our friend, our sponsor, and wish a happy Hanukkah to Sam Cohen of Attorneys First
Yes.
Insurance. If you want errors and omissions insurance, malpractice coverage, if you're an attorney or title company and you need malpractice coverage, Sam Cohen at Attorneys First, Sam at attorneysfirst.com can get you that. Also, I just reactivated. So, we had our PanCan team, our pancreatic cancer fundraising team last year. We raised, I think, over $12,000 towards pancreatic cancer research. I didn't realize the team would go dormant by the PanCan organization, and I had to renew it. So I've done that. So the team is renewed. The Cancer Walk is at the end of April of 2025. So we are starting to fundraise for that. I am starting to fundraise for that. You'll see more about that. I'll start putting the links if you want to join our team and donate to pancreatic cancer education and research and awareness. I would love to say pancreatic cancer cure, but I think that's way, way, way far down the road. Other than
you gotta
that,
start somewhere though. That's for sure. And again, obviously, we that's all we can do is try to make a difference. And these are great ways to do that. So
try to make a dent. Try to take a chunk out of it. So, last year we raised $12,000. I would love to exceed that for 2025. Other than that, for the last show of the year.
Thank you, Sean, for continuing to believe that I actually know what I'm doing and being on the show itself, for sure. But again, I do appreciate our opportunities to meet people, interview them in this show, learn about it, express our thoughts and our opinions in regards to that. So it's just been it's always fun to do the show and really just be able to have fun but still learn something.
Yeah.
And hopefully. Get others to be able to see and manage their money a little bit better through some humor and some good experience and some good lessons out there. So for sure, looking forward to 2025 for sure.
Absolutely, and I know we've got, I think 3 or 4 interviews in January already scheduled on the books. So we got a lot of interviews, a lot of different types of people that we're going to interview coming your way in 2025, as well as just other episodes with just me and George. I do appreciate George. I mean, what I think a lot of the listeners don't know is that many, many, many of the topics that you hear with me and George are ones that George suggested. So, which is exactly why
you hate them all. It's my fault. Just wanted to let you know right now.
If you love the episode, you're welcome. If you hated the episode, blame George. But no, I do appreciate that, and I've enjoyed this ride these last couple of years having a co-host. It's been a lot of fun for me as well personally, and I'm glad, George, that it is you that is our co-host for the show. So,
Right.
So meanwhile, I think I will wrap it up there. I think that I will say going into 2025, we hope you have more money at the end of the month rather than month at the end of the money. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we will talk to you in 2025.